We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully your day is going well. It is Thursday. However, we are recording this on Wednesday night, and we're also doing a TikTok live. Now, this is going to be interesting because I didn't imagine that I'd still be on TikTok at this point on a Wednesday night after the change in the guidelines. I thought they'd get rid of me quick, fast, and in a hurry. But that hasn't been the case. I haven't even really gotten any pushback from TikTok. I haven't got any videos taken down. I haven't got anything like that. And I suppose I shouldn't jinx myself by saying that, but here we are. So I thought we'd take it to the next level and do a TikTok live. See what the hell is up in this place. See what's going on. I know that there were a bunch of other creators that were banned. But as I said, here I sit. TJ the Plumber is one of the moderators. He's with us on the panel too. TJ, how you been? It's been a little bit since we did a TikTok live, and I never imagined we might get a chance to do this again. Hello, TJ. I'm not hearing TJ, so we'll wait and see what happens here. I don't know if it's something that I'm doing or something that's going on in his end, but we'll see. Anyway, I will take TJ off, and when he's ready, you just come up and tell me you're ready. Yeah.
Can you hear? I'm good.
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Sorry, I was having a little. Okay. Can you hear me okay? Because I had problems with my studio mic, so.
No, I can hear you now. I can hear you fine.
Okay. Okay, good.
Maybe you didn't have the phantom power turned on.
It's not that kind of mic. It's a USB mic.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was just telling the folks that here I am doing a live, and after they changed the guidelines, I never imagined that I'd get another chance to do a TikTok live, yet here we are.
Right. Well, we talked about that a little bit earlier today, about, Will gets taken down in 2 seconds all the time. And that's unfortunate because we like Will to make content, of course. But Eric doesn't get taken down and you don't get taken down. And I think that the reason is that we go through, when we have Trumplafucks coming in, we block them. And so the algorithm learns that about the people that we're blocking. So I don't think that you're showing up in the For You pages as much
that could be.
with the Trumplafucks.
Yeah, that could be. And my contention when we first started this out, I think I have fewer followers because I block all the Trumplafucks, but I just figured my platform was more important than my follower count. And it seems to have paid off, at least to this point. But I'm going to knock wood here. Anything could change. I'm seeing we've got a real celebrity in the comments, Tom Powell 2.0, if that's him. I've never met Tom Powell, to be honest with you. But
it said his band account had 1.5 million followers, so I'm guessing it is.
He's got 70K now, so it might be him.
This may be the first time that I've had more followers than Tom Powell. But yeah. Well, Tom, if you want to come up, we'd be happy to talk to you. You probably bring me some even more views. But Tom Powell is a good example. Here's a guy that's been around a long time, has over 1 million followers. He gets banned. We know that one of Hawks has got banned too, and Legal Dad and some other people, and it's just fucking ridiculous. And I assumed that I was going to get banned because I tend to say some shit that might rile a few feathers. It's ironic that I still am here, but Jimmy Kimmel is gone. How fucked up is that? We talk about the First Amendment, and we talk about the constitutionalist with the Republicans and how they love the Constitution and originalist and all this stuff. People always say, are we in the middle of are we going to head for a constitutional crisis? Well, we're in one right now, and there's an attack on the First Amendment. We've got Stephen Colbert taken down because he butthurt Donald Trump. We've got TikTok putting on guidelines because they're afraid to butthurt Donald Trump. And now Jimmy Kimmel is taken off because he butthurt Donald Trump. This is not how it's supposed to fucking work.
It has to make you wonder what's their fear about him? Like, what could he possibly do? Is he going to, unleash the National Guard into the board of directors at ABC? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like,
he didn't even mention Trump. It was MAGA.
He just ripped on MAGA. It wasn't even. I didn't think what he said was bad at all, to be quite honest.
Meanwhile, someone on Fox can talk about
homeless people. Unaliving homeless people's okay, but
and it's perfectly fine.
But ripping on the MAGAs, is it?
Well, and here's the ironic thing. He says that on Fox News about lethal injections and such,
right.
And he has to apologize for it. And then here in Minnesota, we get a number of people, I thought it was like 10 or so homeless people that were shot in a mass shooting that you don't hear about. We keep hearing about Charlie Kirk, but not the mass shootings that happened. Do you think that this guy saying what he said on Fox News maybe had some impetus to that happening here in Minnesota? I don't know for sure, but it certainly didn't fucking help.
No, absolutely not. And you know what? You know what my honest opinion is? Like, fuck ABC, fuck all these major media networks. Like, let them eat themselves. If this is how cowardly and petty they're going to be, then let them fail. Because we don't really honestly need them anymore.
Well,
we don't need them. We don't need them. And some smart people with a lot of assets, like maybe Bill Gates and Mark Cuban and some other folks, they ought to create a brand new network and everybody who gets fucked by the mainstream media, they ought to just pick them up right away and put them on their network. Online, not a cable news network.
Will always talked about a reckoning, when this is all over, and it's going to be over at some point in the future, hopefully sooner than later. There's going to be a lot of politicians that are going to have to explain why they sided with somebody who's now becoming a pariah in Donald Trump. But this is going to be a problem for the media. They're bending the knee now to save their lives. I guess what they're worried about is Donald Trump controlling the FCC and taking licenses away and all that shit. I don't even know if he can do that. He certainly can't do it legally without cause. But this is why they're bending the knee. But when this is over and Donald Trump is in a different position, no power and kind of a pariah in this country, these motherfuckers are going to have to explain why they did what they did. And you have to wonder if this isn't all of mainstream media, from streaming to the networks, but especially the networks, they jumped the shark. They may not be able to come back from this when it's all said and done.
Well, that's exactly why I said let them burn themselves down, because we don't need them anymore. We do not need them anymore. What I would say is create a brand new online network and make Midas touch the news outlet for it and some other folks and put them all together and say, fuck these major networks. We don't need them. How many people watch cable news anymore anyway? Like, maybe your grandma watches it, but none of the people I fucking know watch cable news anymore.
We don't even have cable. Most of our friends don't either.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch Lawrence O'Donnell on occasion, but, there's very few people that I will watch because they all take, even if it's MSNBC and presumably a liberal channel, they still will kind of lean to the right a little bit or give favor to the right. It's all pretty ridiculous and pretty hard to watch. Yeah. I'm going to pull somebody up here. Analytical Iowan. It is Eric. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Doing good.
Go ahead, TJ.
I said, I was just going to say, I'd rather stick my head in a bucket of shit than watch Morning Joe.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm just being honest here.
I just can't do it. Eric, have you been watching this testimony with Kash Patel? I found it funny. The first day, Kash Patel made himself look like an idiot. He probably got closer to losing his job. And then today he does it again, and it gets fucking worse yet.
I haven't seen anything from today. I know yesterday he kind of said that the blame lands on, who is it, Acosta, the attorney, that didn't prosecute anybody. I think I saw
Right.
somebody say something about today that he said, well, there were no accomplices. There were nobody these girls were trafficked to. He just looks incompetent. He looks stupid. He looks like he's obviously covering for something because we've already seen records of people talking about going to the island, doing those kind of things. And he does. That's the problem with these Republicans. I mean, it works out in our benefit, sure, but they're too stupid to realize that they're saying the stupid thing, and it makes them look stupid in the process.
Well, like you say, yesterday they were talking about who was in the files and all these sorts of things, and he said in the evidence he's seen, I don't know why the head of the FBI wouldn't have seen all the files. There were no other clients, just Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, which is absolutely ridiculous. You can't be convicted of trafficking unless you have somebody you've trafficked to and somebody who's guilty on the other end. So he said there wasn't any, and today he kind of walked that back. Well, I didn't really mean that. I'm just saying in what I saw. And Jamie Raskin did something to him that I think shook him up pretty good. He played video of Kash Patel saying, the director of the FBI has the ability to release these files. Why don't they do it? Why don't they do it? If we get there, we'll do it. And then he's there, and he says, well, I've released everything I can legally release. But Jamie Raskin is asking him a bunch of hard questions. And the funniest thing I heard was Kash Patel saying to Jamie Raskin, who is a law professor, a lawyer, and a representative in the House of Representatives, don't you know anything about the law? Don't you understand the law?
That was the best.
And then Republicans, they're experts at everything.
And then Goldman, the Representative Goldman, he said the same thing to Goldman. Don't you know anything about the law? He said, I was a real prosecutor. And then Kash Patel said, well, are you saying I wasn't a real prosecutor? He didn't agree with that, but I would say, yeah, you're probably not real. If you can't do the things you're doing now, you clearly don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the thing. Kash Patel, he's not serious. He's going up against people who wrote the law. This is like Donald Trump going up against Harvard, that trained some of the best attorneys in the nation, and then being surprised when the courts rule on Harvard's side. Well, gee, they know the law. Some of their graduates, granted that was 250 years ago, but some of their graduates were the ones that wrote the Constitution. Jesus Christ, how dumb do you have to be? You know, Harvard is one of those schools that they train the best and everybody knows it, but typical Republican, they think they're smarter than everybody. This is just another example. And Kash Patel makes himself look foolish. He probably will ultimately get fired because Donald Trump will get embarrassed, and they'll bring in somebody else, and that other person will end up embarrassing him, and they'll get fired too.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. I've heard that Pam Bondi, after seeing the first testimony, suggested that Kash Patel should be fired. And it's like when they talked about firing Pam Bondi. It doesn't really mean anything. Pam Bondi isn't going to release the files. They can fire her, put somebody else in, and then Donald Trump will say, don't release the files. It's not up to the AG. It's really not up to the FBI director. Whoever you put in there is going to be doing Donald Trump's bidding, and they aren't going to do what the people want in this country. So that was my question. Do they bother firing Kash Patel because he's embarrassing, because he put on a poor showing? Or do they just double down and triple down like they normally do and just try to stick with him? I mean, let's be honest. Pete Hegseth is still there, and he's an absolute fuck up.
Well, they might transfer him, they might fire him, and if anything, they might do that thinking that it would give them some cover and a chance for him to say, Well, you got to give the new guy a chance to get read in and see what's all there and get accustomed. So it's going to take some time for us to release the files because they got to get acclimated to the position. I can see it as an attempt to delay things, or because if Donald Trump is, in one of his moods because he got embarrassed, that's the other thing. You never know what he might do because he's a toddler. He acts on emotion, and he lashes out when he feels pressure backed into a corner or embarrassment.
Absolutely. I'm going to pull somebody else up here. Queenie 2.0. See if she pops up and see what's on her mind. Queenie, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Oh, hi. Sorry. It's a mistake.
No,
Sorry.
no problem. No problem. What's on your mind, Queenie?
Um, I'm just seeing, like, hold on. I think I'm having a double. I think we need to boycott ABC and just for that. Just don't watch it at all.
Well, we should boycott ABC, CBS, and all the rest that are doing what they're doing because they're really destroying the trust with the audience that they once had. I think to a large extent the networks are losing viewers every day, as is the streaming outlets as well. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. A boycott would be in order for in this situation, assuming people would be willing to do it.
He was the last defense, in my opinion, the last defense in that category. It's sad. I'm
Yeah.
so sad.
What's worrying you the most, Queenie? We're all individuals. We're all in different parts of the country. What kind of things are worrying you the most with the way things are going?
Um, well, as to even my job, I mean, I'm scared because I work in the medical field, and sometimes you're scared of when you don't get paid on time. You call,
Yeah.
if you call Minister of Labor to help you, there's no one there. No one. I tried for 2 weeks, no one. They fired
Wow.
everybody. So,
Do
it's
you
a,
work?
huh?
Do you work in a government
Yeah,
healthcare situation or?
yes, I work like a nursing home or with home health aid with agencies, and sometimes
Okay.
the pay don't come in on time. Sometimes my credit card is tanked and I have to wait and wait. Even paying your rent, sometimes it's late because you don't get paid on time. It has never happened before. So it's
What, do you
sad.
live in a blue state or a red state?
Blue State, I live in Rockland County.
That's Illinois,
No, in New York, Rockland
New
County.
York. Oh, Rockland. I'm sorry. I thought you said Rockwood. Anyway, well, yeah, I can understand that, and especially, the one business that's gaining jobs is the healthcare business. But what they're doing to Medicaid, especially, and the cuts and such, that really impacts nursing homes and assisted living homes, and that's got to be very difficult, not only for the workers but the people who have to stay there. I'm
Yeah.
hearing people getting notices, you can't stay here anymore because we don't take
Yes.
Medicaid.
Yes,
You
and
seeing that
yeah.
kind of stuff?
Yes, I've heard of it, and I also noticed that they put, say you have two persons, they they're short, very short
Yeah,
staff. Hmm.
yeah. Well, Queenie, I appreciate you coming on and telling us. I wish you the best. I think ultimately things are going to get better, but it might get rough here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully you keep things going the way they're going up until the time it starts getting better. I think you probably will. I mean, we all need the health care.
Yes, yes, I
Excuse
always
me.
do my best. Yes, I do.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Thank you, Queenie. I appreciate it.
Okay,
I appreciate you coming on.
thank you.
All right. That's the one thing that's concerning me when we're talking about nursing homes particularly. We have people that have spent their lives paying their taxes in this country. They've gotten old and they can't necessarily take care of themselves. you would think at the very least we would be able to provide some sort of help toward the end of their lives. And this is exactly what Donald Trump and the Republicans are trying to take away from people. They say it's about cruelty, and I don't know if there's any better way to look at it, but this is fucking flat out cruelty.
Well, it's not like our government has ever provided. Like you basically lose your house and all your possessions just to go into a nursing home, regardless. But they're just trying to make it even worse than that.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to pull up somebody we haven't heard from a while, but's been a guest on the podcast a number of times. He is a fellow Minnesotan, a fellow Blue Stater, Howard Powelson. Hey, Howard, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? It's been a long time since I've been on here.
It has. Where you been? You been okay?
Oh yeah.
He's been boating. He's been boating.
Yeah, I've been doing that too, trying to learn how to retire, but still working. I'm just kind of wondering, we got all this shit going on in the United States, but we've been bombing frickin' boats in how do you say that? Venezuela.
Venezuela, yeah.
Yeah, the world, I think, is getting tired of our presidency too, and if we don't take care of business, I kind of wonder what the world's going to do to us, or threaten to do to us, because we can't just be bombing innocent people.
Well, Howard, did you tell me one time you were in the service? Were you in the service?
Yes, I was.
Okay, I'm curious as to what you think about this particular situation with just going out in international waters and bombing boats and saying they're drug dealers when they had no indication of whether or not. Would you call that an international crime? I think I would.
I would too. And then, when does, and I suppose it's the Coast Guard, when do you quit taking orders? I mean, I would think bombing innocent people, you have to quit taking orders.
There was a story that came out. I can't remember who it was. It's one of the mainstream medias, or maybe it was a TikTok. I don't know. But there was talk that with the National Guard members in Los Angeles, the morale is down. Some people are upset that they're being taken away and putting on missions that aren't really missions, and they're having second thoughts about this. And we knew it would come eventually, because you're plucking people out of their lives and their jobs and their families and putting them in a situation that isn't necessary. That's the question, Howard, is when does the military say, okay, we've got an oath, enough is a fucking enough? What do you think it takes to get that done?
I don't know, and that's what's scaring me, because if we don't take care of business from here, we're going to get business taken care of for us. And, and then this country is, I don't know, since Trump's been in there, the racism has gotten so blatant too. And I live in a family where that's noticed,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're a big dumb white guy. You're a big dumb white guy who's married to a beautiful black woman. So, and you live in a small town in Minnesota, which takes some balls. I got to give you, Howard.
And Howard made a very interesting point, because I caught a story today and I forget where I saw it, but there was a media outlet that was pulling some National Guard people on the side up in Washington, D.C.
Right.
They were talking to them, and they wouldn't really say much, but a report came out that, I forget where the report was from, but the morale in the National Guard is low, because the National Guard is feeling ashamed about being in Washington, D.C. and doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well,
the other thing, being in the military, you're not trained to be police. You're trained, how can I say this? There's a big difference between being at war and going into your own cities and trying to do police occupations. That's not what I was in the Guard. We were not trained for that at all.
Well, and that's the point. People in the military and the National Guard, they're trained for one thing, for battle. And when you send the National Guard into an American city, they're not allowed to go into battle with Americans because of posse comitatus. So the whole thing doesn't make any sense. They can't do certain things. It's just all performative with regards to Donald Trump. He wants to make a big show of it. That's all he cares about. He has no substance. It's all about a show. And that's what he's doing. But it's starting to wear thin with a lot of folks, I think. I mean, we hear he's going to go into Memphis, and I think that's going to be interesting because it's a red state, maybe a blue city, but a red state. And the governor says, yeah, come on in, help us out. But when they start stepping on the toes of some of the citizens of this red state, I have a feeling they're going to get a little pissed off.
Well, I hope so, because we need to take care of business, and he's been in there too long, and he's our national, every front you look on, he's just wrecked our economy, our national security. He's turned us into a military state. It's just, I don't know how much more that we should put up with this either.
Well, this is a question for all of you. Howard said you wonder when somebody's going to do something to us. Now, in normal circumstances, somebody attacking the United States seems like an oddity, save for 9/11. But with all the egregious things that Donald Trump is doing internationally as well as in this country, the fact that we know that our national security is weakened by way of Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard and such, does some country or some terrorist organization say, hey, here's an opportunity? They're weak. They got holes in their security. That's what I think I'm afraid of the most.
Well, you may have a point there, but that might be what brings us back together too, because, and we just went through this farce the other day, and I hate to call it that because it was a tragedy, but 9/11, because it united us. But we never did go after the culprits. We went after Saddam Hussein. And if I remember right, wasn't it the Saudis that flew the airplane? So we totally went in the wrong direction, but it did unite us as a country.
Yeah, the majority of the pilots were Saudi. Eric, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Well, so no, you might be right. We got a dipshit running everything. We've got, and I refuse to call him by his new title. We've got the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who he's not a DEI hire, he's a DUI hire.
Yeah, exactly.
He's so unqualified. We've got these clowns running every which way. Clearly, we've got incompetence. They see it every day. It's hard to hide when you have Donald Trump coming out saying stuff like, well, smart people don't like me. And it's just...
It's true, though. It's one of the few truths he's told.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
The only smart people that like him are the billionaires getting their tax cuts. That's it.
Right. But with all that happening, if you wanted to attempt to do something to really show us, you'd see this as an opening.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if a country would do it, but some terrorist organization that wants to make a point, you would think this would be an opportune time. I hope they don't do that. We don't need that in addition to all the other shit we've got going on. But goddamn, he's leaving a lot of things wide open.
Yeah, our national security is wrecked. And when it comes to smart people not liking Donald Trump, I always say to people that I have political discussions with is, I'm a very common person, and I get that I'm not the brightest person in the world, or the brightest person in the room, but I can see all the shit that he's wreaking. And the Trump supporters around here, it's just like the more he does that's illegal, the better they like him. I don't get it.
Well, I get the impression sometimes that these people just refuse or just can't admit they're wrong, so they just double down and triple down, and they think somehow Donald Trump will find his way out of this. I think Donald Trump is too deep in this now, I think he's gotten to that point that narcissists get to, where he's becoming overwhelmed with all the problems. I mean, we have that situation down in Georgia where they stepped on the toes of the South Korean patriots down there, and they did what they did, and Korea's going, fuck you, we're not doing anything anymore. We're pulling out of everything. Now Donald Trump is doing a little tap dance and kissing some asses because he realized he fucked up. This is the way it always goes with Donald Trump. He makes a claim, he tries to do something, he knows he's right, he fucks up, and then he tries to fix it. He's getting to the point where he can't fix everything anymore.
I don't think Donald Trump could ever fix anything. And, we got to do something with him. We got to get him out of power. We got to get rid of him. That's what.
Absolutely.
I think I've been up here long enough. If you want to drop me off, that'd be good.
All right, Howard, thanks very much. Get in touch with me, too, so we can do another podcast together. That's always fun. Say hi to your wife and your family, and don't pussyfoot around. Fucking retire, for Christ's sake. You're old enough.
Yes, I am. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Howard.
All right, we'll talk to you later, Howard.
See you, Howard.
Now, somebody brought something... Excuse me, Wanda Oro said, did you see how Trump was received in the UK? And I thought that was interesting. He went over there, and I was surprised he went over there. But when I realized all the pomp and circumstance that would be going on, he'd be driving or riding in a carriage and all that stuff, I was thinking to myself, yeah, that's about his speed. He likes the attention. He thinks everybody in the world loves him. Turns out that's not true. But I was thinking to myself, we've got Donald Trump and Melania Trump going to the UK to meet with the king. That's like sending the hillbillies to see the king. I hope that Melania wore her sexy princess outfit from last year's Halloween so she could fit in nicely. But thinking about this, you think about FDR meeting with Churchill. Now, granted, Churchill wasn't the king, but those two meeting. And now you got King Charles and Donald Trump meeting. That's going to be a dumb-off, and it's going to be a fucking tie, Put it this way, if they had to do a movie about this meeting, they'd have to pull Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels out of fucking mothballs to play the parts.
That's hilarious. But you're right.
So anyway, he gets off the plane, and there's all kinds of protests and all kinds of things going on. They're projecting Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein on the walls, the outside walls of Buckingham Palace. I'm sure he's seen this. This has got to get to him, and I'm wondering if he's looking to send the National Guard into London. That might be his next fucking move.
And you know what's shitty about that? They arrested those people that projected that thing onto the wall. What the fuck, England? Come on now.
Did they really?
Yeah, from what I understand, it has something to do with defacing the castle or something. I don't know of it in its entirety, and I think from the little bit I saw in the one news article I saw about it, it sounds like they would have been arrested no matter what image they put up there. It wasn't because it was Trump and Epstein; it was the fact they did it at all.
Well, they have different rules with monarchies and the kings and stuff, but the fact that they did it and embarrassed Donald Trump, I'm happy with it. I got to be honest with the people in the UK, they don't fuck around. I have a feeling the people in England are really calling out Donald Trump, and why not? I knew the UK wasn't the type of people to fuck around with when we had an Irish guest on one time. And Donald Trump was in Ireland to see one of his golf courses. And when she imparted to us that they had to hire somebody at this golf course to every day go around the golf course, because every day some Irish guy or a bunch of Irish guys left piles of human shit at each hole. Now that is fucking next level fucking badass.
Somebody in the comments said, it's amazing how they protest better in Europe than they do here. And I said, right, we should be poop emoji in all the holes with his golf clubs here.
He's very popular in Scotland, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, hugely popular.
When you compare the image that popped in my head, though, when you brought up Churchill and FDR, is very famously at one point, Churchill met FDR wearing nothing but like an open robe when they met somewhere in the middle of the night. And the image that popped in my head was of King Charles and Donald Trump having a similar encounter, except it was Donald Trump in his diaper.
Oh,
God damn.
God, we don't want to think about that shit.
I've got something.
I had to share it.
I've got a comment here from Rose25. She says, I always end up on lives with younger people against Trump or older people for Trump. Well, Rose, I'm against Trump, have been for a long time, and I'm 65. So we broke the trend here. We broke the norm. It's not all, people want to blame boomers and Gen X for Donald Trump, and to a large degree that's true, but there are a fair amount of us out here that have an above average intelligence and can see what's so basic in front of us. So welcome to the live, and you happen to run into a crowd of older people, me being the oldest, and we're good. We're good. We're on the right side of history. I'm going to pull somebody up here. I don't know if she's been up here before, but I recognize her name from the comments. SoCal Bev, how you doing? Yes. What's on your mind?
Well,
hey, SoCal Bev.
TV.
Well, pull the dog up. I like dogs.
Exactly.
Looks like she's otherwise. Otherwise, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Was an accident. I didn't mean to request help. But
okay.
I did put in the comments. Honestly, I don't think any country should be accepting Trump into their country while he's doing what he's doing with these Venezuelan boats.
No, it's illegal. It violates international law.
Yeah, he shouldn't be accepted into any country. He should just be made a pariah by these other countries.
Yeah, I don't understand. We got media bending a knee. We've got politicians bending a knee. We've got other countries bending a knee. What is the power this guy have? Don't they realize that he's on the downside of whatever career he had? He's becoming weaker every frickin' day.
Well, and people like Pritzker and Newsom are showing if you stand up to him, he goes away.
Yeah. When's he going into Chicago? He kept talking about going into Chicago. Now he's going to Memphis. Why is he not going into Chicago? Because Pritzker stood up to him.
Yeah, I told him fuck himself.
Yeah, anybody that stands up to him, he seems to move on to another target.
What was the Mueller comment, TJ?
I don't know.
I did also want to say, it's off topic, but the Fed cut rates today by 1/4 point.
Yes. They did.
Yeah, and I was a bond trader for 15 years, and I can't wait to hear Trump tomorrow because mortgage rates went up.
Yeah, but the bond market is exploding right now. It's probably because of stock valuation, right? Because right now the prices of stocks are so expensive against returns that the bond market is doing incredible.
Yeah. Well, big money, the big institutions, unlike we as people, they cannot really sit on cash. They have to get a return on their money. So they have to invest it. So yeah, they got to go into bonds. They got to go into real estate or commercial paper. They can't just sit on their money. They have to invest it. They can't go to cash.
And that's what happens when the stock market's taking a shit. And whenever, and many times when this happens, you know what that points to? We're heading into a recession.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some of it has to do also with the comments that Fed Powell made today, and the leaning that there probably wouldn't be more cuts this year, and the market had kind of priced in more cuts this year already. So I think that usually happens. He'll cut, and then if the comments come out later and they're not leaning toward another cut, then the market backs off because they'd already kind of priced it in. I think some people were hoping for a 50 basis point cut.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So Bev, since you have a background in this, I'm curious as to what you foresee with what's going on right now. Prices going up, GDP going down, inflation going up, jobs going out the window, but the stock market seems to be flourishing at this point. What does that tell you for the next 6 months to a year?
I honestly think the stock market's due for a big correction, but
Really?
like we were talking about before, there's been a lot of cash on the sidelines, and people, these big institutions and corporations, have to put that money somewhere. So, parking it and just putting it in stocks, putting it in bonds. But I honestly am surprised the stock market's doing as well as it is doing.
I am too. It doesn't make any sense. Is it because they just don't believe Trump is going to do some of the things he says he's going to do? You would think they learned a lesson with these tariffs.
I don't think that's it. I think that it's a place to put money, and there's not a better place right now. They're not seeing a better return somewhere else, so they're putting their money in the market.
You said you foresee a possible correction. I got to believe that there are other people in the stock market that sense the same thing. Why would they do that and take that risk?
Well, they'll pull out. I mean, so much of it's automated with AI and everything else now. They've probably got stops in, and if they see things start falling, you'll see. That's why I think if we do see a pullback, we're going to see a big correction at some point, because all the automatic limits will be hit and money will just be flowing out. But I definitely think we're headed toward a recession, which typically is good for the bond market.
Yeah. Hopefully
good.
not.
And I don't know if you guys knew, but a couple months ago, Trump bought $100 million worth of bonds.
Really? No, I did not know that.
Yeah, I'll have to send you the story. I'll DM it to you. So, that's another reason I think he's pushing so hard for these rates to go down. Because I know you guys probably all know, but for anyone in the audience that doesn't know, price and yield are inversely related in bonds. So if price goes down, yield goes up. If yield comes down, so if rates come down, the value of the bonds you own now go up. So if he bought bonds anticipating rates to get dropped, because that would make his bonds worth more money.
That explains one of the reasons why he's pushing for big rate cuts then.
Yeah, they are inversely related. So price goes up, yield goes down. So if you bought bonds that have a coupon of 8%, and now the new bonds coming out only have a coupon of 7.5%, your 8% bonds are worth more money.
So now the Fed comes out and says they're going to cut interest rates. Everybody's thinking that Donald Trump will be happy now. They only cut it 0.25%. And if Donald Trump had his way, he'd cut it all the way down to 1%. He's obviously not having any luck pressuring Jerome Powell or firing this Lisa Cook. She's staying on at this point, according to the courts. If Donald Trump, from your perspective as somebody who was in trading, if Donald Trump could do what he wanted to do with the Fed, how bad would that affect the economy in this country?
It would be horrible, horrific. That's what happened in Japan. High inflation, low employment. They kept lowering the rate down to where they had their prime, I believe, down to 0%. And they had a decade. It's very hard to come back from that. In Japan, they call it the lost decade. They had no growth. They were stagnant for 10 years. So it takes a long time to come out of that. It's horrible. It's the worst possible scenario. It's what economists fear more than anything, more than inflation, more than bad employment. Stagflation is the boogeyman.
If you understand that, if economists understand that, you would presume some of these big oligarchs understand that. Why do they walk so lightly around Donald Trump when he's trying to do something that could devastate them as well?
I have no idea.
That makes no fucking sense.
I have no idea, but if these tariffs stay in place and he gets his way with lowering rates, it'll be really bad for the economy.
Yeah.
Really, really bad.
Well, let's hope something happens before then. Do you think the wealthy people will get tired of losing money or the potential of losing money and do something ultimately to undercut Donald Trump? You would think they would, but we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people probably already feel that way about him, and they're just kind of going with the flow and trying not to make any waves unless they have to, but they haven't been put in that situation yet. The people making money are getting their tax cuts. I'm surrounded by MAGA, and I'm surrounded by a lot of MAGA that are wealthy, and they're just fine with what he's doing because they're making money.
Wow. Let the country be damned. Let everybody else be damned, long as I put money in my pocket.
100%.
Wow.
They got theirs. They've got theirs, and they don't understand the long-term implications of helping the economy as a whole and helping society as a whole and how that benefits everybody. It's just not a concept to them. It's just meaning.
I always likened these wealthy people so greedy and continuing to take as much money as they can as that dog that will eat anytime his bowl is full. So you put the dog food in, he eats it up. You put more in, he eats it up. He'll keep eating it up until he fucking explodes. And that's the problem with these oligarchs. They're going to ultimately drain the middle class or destroy the economy, and it's going to destroy themselves. But they're so fucking greedy, they either aren't thinking about it or don't believe it's going to happen.
I think they don't believe it's going to happen. But, one thing positive I do see, it seems like more people are waking up to not a Republican, Democrat, but basically the middle class is disappearing, and we've got to do something about these billionaires and trillionaires. And I think, Mondami, we're seeing more and more people, the guy in Maine, and I think that message is one that can win for the Democrats versus, we hate Donald Trump, he's horrible. It's really more about, I think if we can focus more on the class war than the political war, that's a better message right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Bev, thank you very much for coming up. For somebody who didn't have a question and did it accidentally, you participated wonderfully. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
All right. SoCal Bev. See, that's the thing is, that's why I like doing this, is because we always get good guests, even if they don't even want to fucking come on. You can still pull something out of them. Here's somebody that I know will have plenty to say. Trucker T is with us currently. Hey, Trucker, what's up? What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
I got a lot on my mind, but listening to SoCal Bill, it reminded me of what I heard today about Director Patel and his stock in Sheen and how he was trying to hide the fact that he still has it. You guys watch that and catch any of that?
He was covering up what?
The stock that he has in this.
And Sheen,
Sheen, and he was trying to hide it for some reason, like it wasn't a big deal to him. He's like, oh, it's just something that I had, and they tried to explain to him what it was, and he just seemed like he was so dumbfounded. But I can't believe he's that stupid.
But doesn't that new rule that the Trump organization put out, the de minimis rule, where anything under $800 didn't have a tariff and now it does, doesn't that affect places like that and Temu and stuff? That's got to hit their bottom line at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, his thing is, I may have had the stock, but when I was sworn in, they told me what stocks I can keep, and he was like, well, isn't Sheen one of the Chinese companies that steals our intellectual data and all of these things? And the director of FBI has stock in it. Isn't that a conflict of interest? And he was like, well, no, really.
Not really.
God damn.
But TikTok is.
Right.
So Trucker, you're still up and running on TikTok?
I am, yes. I've just been heavily into football. And
yeah.
TJ, between TJ the plumber and TikTok, TJ the plumber and football, I've been busy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
What did I do? I just send you stuff that's worthwhile, man. That's it.
I know. I sent him something yesterday that was worthwhile, so hopefully British John comes on today.
He's in here.
He was in here earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but he was.
Becca, I know TJ showed that to you.
What?
Did TJ show you that text I sent him yesterday?
I saw a couple things you did today. I don't know if he showed me yesterday's.
Yeah, he'll show it to you. It was great. They're not talking about Minnesota, Mike, and they're also not talking about Pittsburgh today, and I wonder why.
Well, Minnesota has its problems. We have, as far as football goes, J.J. McCarthy was the starting quarterback. He was a 10th draft choice, and the first game against Chicago, he did well in the fourth quarter. In this particular game, this past game, he was horrible. And the thing you got to remember, here's a kid that's 22 years old in his second game. I don't know if you remember Eli Manning, Peyton Manning. Everybody had a rough first year when they first started. Yeah. So to give up on the kid is a little ridiculous. But he's got a high sprained ankle, and now we got Carson Wentz as quarterback next week. Now that's either scary or the second coming of Sam Darnold, because we know what Kevin O'Connell might do. Who the fuck knows?
Right. No, I appreciate the pep talk, because I am a Vikings fan, but I was talking about what happened with the homeless in Minnesota that they're not talking about. Right after Brian Kilmeade made that stupid statement, and you go out, you got two separate incidences where, something happened in, Minnesota with that. And then today, there's 3 to 5 officers that were unalived by some guy that didn't want to go in, but they're not talking about that.
Trucker, that didn't happen in Pitt. That didn't happen in Pittsburgh. That happened in York. That's out near Philly.
York. Well, I meant Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is the ironic thing about this is Donald Trump is going to go after liberal organizations for hate speech and for, inciting violence. It's ironic that Donald Trump and the Republicans and MAGA would do this, because they are first and foremost guilty of this very thing every fucking day. So I don't know what they intend to do with these liberal organizations. In terms of like Charlie Kirk and all this stuff, most of what I've heard, people are saying, it's a fucked up thing, but I don't really care. And I've said that before, that I didn't really know much about Charlie Kirk before. I don't know much about him now. He wasn't a factor in my life because I don't follow that shit. So sue me if I'm not sorry enough, but I'm not.
Right, and animal lover just jogged my memory also. There was 2 incidences in Mississippi yesterday that should have been all over the news, right?
I didn't get to read. Were they both, okay, so I didn't get to fact check or read because I was busy with work, and I haven't had a chance, but were they both hung in, what were the situations? Were they both hung in trees? Like, were they lynching situations? Like, what was this?
Okay, well, the one I know about, he had broken arms, broken legs, and supposedly there was no foul play. He hung himself. Okay, whatever. And then the second one, the same, no foul play. So, but it was one white and one black. So it wasn't. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they feel that they're leftists or what, but you just don't find people like that nowadays.
Well, no, and nobody's talking about that at all. And when the police showed up, not only did they try to play it off as nothing unusual other than, somebody unaliving themselves, but they just try to cover the whole thing up. The families are now having to sue the police department, I believe, in order to get an autopsy done and get it figured out. So an autopsy was done on the black gentleman, I understand, and we're still waiting for the results of that. But to suggest this is self-inflicted, all you have to do is look at this. It happened in Mississippi. It was a young black man, and he was hanged. You don't have to say much more. Yeah, you don't have to say much more. It's a little suspicious.
And we're right now going through this heightened sense of awareness because of CK. Everybody's got their panties up their butt because of Charles. So who knows what was going on?
So two people in the same state unalived themselves or were unalived in the same kind of situation within a couple days of each, or the same day?
Pretty much, yeah. But nothing to see here, folks. Move along.
Yeah.
It sticks out like the red side of a blue barn. You know what I mean?
If that happened in New York City, I'd say it's a coincidence. But the fact that it happened in Mississippi, I don't fucking think so.
Same day.
Well, and we got somebody in the comments just said this, said the YT guy was homeless and had mental health issues. Black man was bullied in school, and he was in a tree. So that covers two sides of the thing: racism, and of course, the calling out of Brian Kilmeade for how he felt homeless and mentally ill people should be dealt with. That's the funny thing. He says something like that. You can't think of something more egregious than what he said, and he has to apologize. We've got Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and a number of news people that are just trying to tell the truth, and they have to get fired. They have to be let go. This is really troubling because they're really impacting our First Amendment right, and this is in fact censorship.
You know what the thing about the Brian Kilmeade thing that like struck me the hardest? The other two people on the panel with him didn't flinch.
No.
If you watch that video, like they didn't skip a beat.
No. They liked it. They laughed about it.
It was like just a normal conversation.
And you know what's funny about that? All the outrage about, the guy that got eliminated this last week, all the outrage about that, but they don't care about talking about unaliving people that are disadvantaged.
No, of course not. No. They don't
unaliving people that are disadvantaged. Like just
Well, basically, government mandated unaliving of people who are, houseless.
Yeah,
because they view themselves as better as everybody else. That these homeless people,
rather than spending any government money to make their lives better, and we should just unalive them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna pull somebody else up here who no doubt has something to say. We've got Oliver's mom. Oliver's mom, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Hey, I was listening a little bit about the midnight people who were getting shut down and things like that. That is just ridiculous. I heard some of what they said was being said on Jimmy Kimmel, and basically it sounds like it was opinion, not necessarily he was repeating facts or being negative. It was just his opinion. And yes, that's going against our free speech 100%.
Yeah.
They're going after the liberal midnight crew.
Honestly, the only thing he said was that they were basically like MAGA and Democrats were basically pointing fingers at each other as to who was like responsible for CK's unalivement. That's basically the entire gist of his conversation, and he's been indefinitely canceled.
Yeah, that's a shame.
What he said.
But the thing of it is, it's true. Both sides are pointing fingers at each other.
Exactly.
Well,
we should never resolve something or, take care of something with a weapon. It's wrong. It's not the way things should be handled. I mean, the guy was just having conversations, bringing people, he was listening to other people's points of view. From what I've seen, I don't know a whole lot about him. I do know he was deeply right-wing. But, that's not the way to handle it. You don't handle it with that situation. You don't pull out a weapon and handle it that way. The one, somebody was talking just a little bit ago, I think Trucker brought it up, the situation in Pennsylvania. That was in York, Pennsylvania. York, Pennsylvania is about 10, 15 miles from the Maryland line. I lived in that area for about 17 years. The area that they're talking about, Codorus Township, is basically farm country. You're talking about an area that is farm country. And from what I understand, the officers were supposedly serving a warrant to arrest this gentleman for something related to domestic violence that had happened in the past week or so. And they sent 5 to take down one guy, but when he had a weapon against them, there's not a whole lot that they could do. I guess they should have realized that might have been a problem, but it's a shame that 3 officers have lost their lives and 2 more are in critical condition right now. We've got a problem, whether it's a mental health problem or a pew pew problem in this country. We've got a problem, and we've got to figure out a way as a country, bipartisanly to take care of this problem.
We got a lot of problems that need to be fixed, and as long as we have Republicans in charge, they're just unwilling to do it. They just won't do it. You hold on, Oliver's mom. I got somebody who wants to come up here. He goes by the name of Dirk Diggler, so I'm a little reticent. But, if they haven't kicked me off by now, what the fuck? We'll see what Dirk has to say. He seemed very anxious to be on. Dirk, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Can you hear me?
Dirk?
Yeah.
I can hear you, Dirk. What's up?
Okay, great. First of all, I just want to say thank you to you, Michael, the rational
Thank
movement.
you.
Also, TJ, Rebecca, Eric, all you guys. Every morning that I go walking, I have that team on my on my shoulder, So I want to thank you guys. I really
Well,
do.
thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank
know
you
it's a
very much.
team, and it's great. The question I have for you guys is, how do you think, with even the free speech talk going away, how is it going to stop? You know what I mean? How is it gonna? How are we going to be able to slow it down?
Well, let me answer this one, Mike. So in the state of Indiana,
Thank you, Trucker T. Also, Trucker T, thank you too. I listen to you as well. Thank you, sir.
hey, no worries, no worries. I appreciate you listening. So the state of Indiana, the school board has come out with a website, and they want us to report any person or teacher that they hear talking about CK to them.
Yeah.
So they can forward it up to Todd Rokita, which is our attorney general, for prosecution. So the thing is, they said, okay, let them do that so we can all file civil case lawsuit against them, because you can't take away the First Amendment, especially during Constitution Day or Constitution Week. The very first thing you're going to see is the First Amendment, where it says freedom of speech, right? So we're going to have to just sue these guys into oblivion in order to get it to stop.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Well, yeah. The only reason I'm scared about that is because, every other court case. Not every other court case, because let's be honest. I mean, Rational Boomer has showed us how many court cases, and Eric has showed us how many they've lost. It's the ones that are coming up that are about free speech, where all of a sudden, if you're brown, like Will, let's be honest, you're just kind of screwed. You know what I mean? That's the question. Sorry, I don't know if I made that apparent.
No, you do, but there comes a point when everybody is taking too much, and we're starting to see the pushback now. We're starting to see more Republicans willing to fight back. I'm not sure why they didn't at first. This all has to come down and crash in a pile of steaming shit eventually, because that's inevitably what happens with narcissists. They always fail, they always crash, and then they always run away if they can. It's going to end. I don't know when. I thought it would be by now. And then when that ends, when the head of the snake is no longer there, things will even out a little bit, but we still got a lot of house cleaning, because there's still a lot of MAGA fucks out there that will still be trying to do things. But without their leader, it's going to be hard to keep that MAGA group together. So that's the first step, whether by 25th Amendment or impeachment or by act of God. Once we're done with that, then things start to change a little bit.
But the 25th
Boomer,
doesn't.
Can I say something, Boomer, real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Dirk.
Listen, thank you. I listened to you and Eric last year, and I didn't think we were going to lose, and I don't blame either one of you for it. I didn't think we were going to lose, but I'll tell you what, I think this time, we fucking got it. There's so much fucking bullshit going on right now. It's unbelievable. I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you both for the opportunity that I get to listen to it here in downtown Dallas. Even though I moved from north of Chicago, I love you guys. I do. That Midwest love.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I appreciate that, Dirk. And the thing about it is you brought up the election, and I said Kamala would win. I had no question in my mind, and so did Eric. And I tell people, I said, look, I'm not a psychic. I'm not a soothsayer. I take a look at the facts and decide what I think is best. And I can be wrong. As I've said many times before, I've been married for 42 years. I've been told I'm wrong every fucking day. So this ain't nothing new to me.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I was wrong, and that's fine. No, I was wrong. Logic didn't. What I was wrong about is I thought logic and common sense made a difference, and it didn't. So now now I have to figure out a different way to figure it.
Well, let me put it this way. I was right there with you.
I appreciate that. A lot of people were, man. A lot of people were. Well, Dirk, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it immensely.
Hey, thank you. I'll listen to it tomorrow on the podcast, on the Spotify as well. Hey,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, again, Rebecca, everyone, TJ, Trucker, Eric, thank you guys, everyone. Mike, thank you.
I have one question.
I
have one question for you, Dirk.
Yeah.
I have one question for you. Why Dirk Diggler? Or don't you want to talk about it?
It's just a funny fucking movie, man.
It is.
It's a funny fucking movie.
Yeah,
I'm
you're right about that.
I'm from north of Chicago, Illinois. I'm 41. I'll give you all the details. I just think it's a fucking movie. Dirk Diggler.
Are you married? Are you married?
No, I'm not. That does suck.
Because
I can't believe it.
Because I'm thinking, if you were married and you came out of the shower, your wife might say, "Dirk Diggler, come on."
Mike, you're not wrong, and I will admit to that. If I had a wife, she would be embarrassed of me. But you know what? I'll tell you what. I do love my man from Minnesota. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you very much, Dirk. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right.
Yeah. And I'd like to say real quick for people that are watching this on the TikTok live, Dirk said he's going to listen to it tomorrow on Spotify. So the Rational Boomer podcast is on Spotify and YouTube. So if you aren't able to make it on the live or whatever, it always gets rebroadcast on the podcast. So check out the Rational Boomer podcast on Spotify or YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to go, and if I get kicked off of here, you can go to YouTube or Spotify or Substack, and all you have to do is search Rational Boomer. It's video on YouTube. It's video and audio. I mean, if you want to hear what we say but don't want to look at our faces, and I get that, you can just get the audio version on Spotify as well. So I'm going to pull up Shell here from Los Angeles. She always has some good input. Everybody else that's waiting, just hang on. We'll get to you. Shell, how you doing? What's going on in L.A.?
I'm really good. It's going really well here.
Yes, we found Kim.
I guess we did because I was asking him. I hadn't seen her in a few days, so I was asking about her.
Oh, me?
So I was, because I hadn't seen you on anybody's live, so I was worried about you.
I've been quiet for a little bit, but thank you for sending me the live notice because I was waiting for it.
Oh yeah,
you
we
are
asked about you on my
welcome.
live also. Yeah, we sure
Oh,
did.
okay.
So I wanted to talk about. There's two things I wanted to talk about. One, I was reading a report that said already this year we've lost about $30 billion in people coming to the United States to visit.
Wow.
Tourism money, yeah.
Yeah. And that was as of July. So by the end of the year, it'll probably be close to double that because of the holidays and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that's on my mind. Another thing that's on my mind that I'm seeing a bunch of creators that are talking about the fact that the e-files, they may come out with all the information that we all know is already in there, but people are starting to say it's not going to be a deal breaker for most of them.
Oh, yeah. I've heard people say that. If Donald Trump shows up in the files and he did whatever he did, To some people, it's not going to be a deal breaker. But I think that we're talking about the base. We're talking about 25 or 30% of the people. So I think for a lot of people, it will be a deal breaker. But there are some sorry, pitiful motherfuckers that will be just as happy with Donald Trump if he's caught in the middle of this whole thing.
I was listening to a thing from, I think his name is Tellerico from Texas.
Yeah, James Tellerico, I think his name is. He's a state legislator, but he's going to be running for the U.S. Senate. He's become very popular. He's a smart kid.
I did a duet with him, and in the on his side of it, he was talking about the fact that, they hadn't asked him about anything other than the current eliminated person and MAGA stuff. Like, they hadn't asked him about fixing hunger or fixing taxes or anything like that. They had just focused on these things that didn't or shouldn't matter.
Well, and we know why they're doing it. Donald Trump said to his people prior to this event, he said, we need something big. We need something big to happen. Now, I'm not suggesting that it had anything to do with what Charlie Kirk happened. I think people were very surprised and upset about this, and justifiably so. But Donald Trump is an opportunist. So when he sees a news story and he thinks he can blow it up, he will, to get people to stop talking from the other things that are potentially more damaging to him. He's a master at that. Look over here. This is a shit show. And then he'll say some crazy shit just to draw some people's attention away. That's why I'm not talking about Mr. Kirk that much on the TikToks anymore, because, as I said, beforehand, he didn't mean anything to me. Afterwards, he doesn't mean anything to me. He doesn't speak for me. I'm not part of his crowd any more than I would talk about Joe Rogan. I don't listen to Joe Rogan. I don't care what happens to Joe Rogan.
I'm kind of there too. I made mention of it, and I'm done with it because I didn't have anything to do with him either beforehand. I couldn't name one thing that he had said before, so I was kind of inundated with after the fact stuff. But the thing that really, really concerns me is I live and work in Hollywood, basically. And the amount of people that are union that now have either their profile pic or their banner above their profile pic all says I'm Charlie.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous. And the thing about it is, somebody in the comments said, stop talking about him. The base hates that. I got news for you. I've been here for 5 years, and virtually everything I say is pissing off the base. So I'm not going to stop now. I'm not, like Bernie Mac once said, I ain't afraid of you motherfuckers. Because
the point is, just don't talk about it, because it's just like,
don't keep it in the news. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That makes sense too. I get that.
Who is he? He's like nobody. He's nothing.
Yeah, and his wife made a comment in her speech that she gave, or her interview that she gave, that this has made him a martyr, which is what we don't need. No. We don't need martyrs.
Exactly.
No, we don't.
God, no, we don't. No, we don't.
You're right. You're right. You're right, and it's a big deal right now. But honestly, 6 months from now, I don't think anyone's going to be talking about it or thinking about it.
But you're right. Like,
he's
not a politician. He's not like who was.
No,
he wasn't anybody. Like, the reason he was
a bigot and a racist
because he was low security. Like, he wasn't a politician. There's no Secret Service. There was no. It was easy. He was an easy pick off. Like.
Yeah. Well, when you're a bigot and a racist, and like, everybody has the right to free speech, but sometimes there's consequences to your actions. So I don't know. I mean, in 6 months, I don't think it's going to matter much.
Well, let's talk more about the dipshit in charge. I had a revelation today. My wife and I are taking a few days a week, and we're babysitting our 3-month-old grandson, our new grandson. And as I'm watching him, he's laughing. He's the coolest kid ever. I love this kid. We have fun with him and all that stuff. And I said, this kid could be president one day, And then I thought to myself, he tries to talk, but he's 3 months old and he's incoherent. And he shits his pants about 3 times a day. Fuck, he could be president right now.
Yeah, he's just like the president we have.
He's quite possibly more intelligent.
Yeah,
there's no possibly about it. Definitely.
So, Mike, I do have a question for you. So
yeah, go ahead, Trucker T.
Yeah, speaking about the president and whatnot, you had mentioned earlier that about the 25th Amendment, right?
Yeah.
But the vice president would have to invoke that or follow through with it. Do you think old Couchfucker would actually do it?
Well, I don't think they would do it without real cause. I mean, like if the guy keels over and shits himself to death, or is incapacitated in some way, just as a shot against Donald Trump, unless there's a real reason to do it, I don't think he would do it. No, I don't think he has the balls to do that. No. So I don't think the 25th Amendment, and I think Eric agrees too, 25th Amendment isn't a real possibility at this point unless the unforeseen should happen.
Right. Yeah, and plus you would have to get him off the couch, and that might be hard to do.
Yeah.
Boomer, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. I saw something. I saw Trump in a clip shortly after he was missing for those few days. And it looked to me as if the right side of his face was drooping quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yep. Melting right away.
Yeah, and that's an indication of a stroke. Now, it might not have to be a big stroke because I'm going to be honest, I've had TIAs, which are like mini strokes, and I have the same droop. And that's what sort of caught my attention, why it caught my attention. It sounds like others of you on the panel have noticed the same thing.
I did a post on it because I am 100% convinced that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not surprising given the way he looks, the way he sounds, what he eats. He's not well on any level. And a man closing in on 80 in the health he's in, a stroke isn't a crazy thought.
Somebody in the comments said Bell's palsy, and yeah, that's another
possibility. Yes.
Yeah.
It is, but not.
I didn't even think of that.
Well, as far
it's
as the 25th,
it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as far as the 25th Amendment goes and whether or not J.D. Vance would invoke it, he's not going to do it on his own, right?
No.
He's going to invoke it when he knows he has Congress on his side to pull it off. He's not even going to make the decision. He's not going to go to them and say, hey guys, do you think we should do this? They're going to go to him and say, you must do this. And it's going to probably come down to what they feel is the best option, as I say all the time, about their reelection chances. They think he's going to cost them in the midterms, or maybe if he did cost them or whatever, and they want to move forward, or he does something completely unhinged and they need a way to get rid of him, and they're like, fuck, we got to do something. Well, then, yeah, I think he'll pull the trigger, but he's not going to make the decision alone, and he won't do it till he knows he has congressional Republicans on his side.
Well, and if they do it, and Donald Trump is still somewhat cognizant and ambulatory, what will happen then will be the destruction of the Republican Party, because he'll get kicked out, he'll be angry, and he will explode on everybody in the Republican Party. He'll take everybody down with him. So I hope that happens. I just think the Republicans are fearful. They're cowards. They're not going to do that unless the guy's just not conscious.
Yeah. Now I have another one that this may have been a dream. I'm telling you, I think it's true, but it may have been a dream because it's one of those things that I really would like to happen. Was there a special election that we won and put us in charge of, in the majority in the House? Or was that just a dream that I had?
No,
not the majority.
Okay.
But we did have a special election which gave us 217 votes toward the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. And there's another special election on the 23rd that we're likely to win. And if we win that, we'll have the 218 votes in the House to release the Jeffrey Epstein files. That's what you heard.
So I was partially right.
Yeah, you were partially right.
It was sort of.
Fingers fucking crossed on that.
Okay.
My thoughts are one step at a time, one seat at a time, one city at a time, one city council at a time.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? We're seeing I think we're seeing a lot of small local elections showing things that we never thought we'd see. I don't know if you guys are seeing that locally. We're seeing that. I don't know if we're seeing things that like you never thought we'd see, and I hope you guys are too.
Yeah.
Well, we're seeing a lot of Republicans resigning too. Something like 27 in Congress. Republicans are resigning because they see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, they don't want to. They don't want to have a Donald Trump stink legacy tied to them.
Yeah.
Well, it's too late now.
Well, with all those Republicans resigning, it's going to be like these special elections when it comes to the midterm. Now, there's going to be better turnout, don't get me wrong. But when you don't have that incumbent name sitting there staring you in the face of, oh, yeah, well, things aren't too bad, and this person's been in charge, even if things are going horribly, you vote for the name you know. That's why I complain about it all the time. You know who I'm going to mention.
Yeah.
You know,
Chuck Grassley.
Chocolate chips?
Chuck Grassley, yes. He's been in the Senate longer than I've been alive, but he runs every time, and people go, "Oh yeah, Grassley, I know him. He's been there forever. He must know what he's doing," and they vote for it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that that Chuck Grassley did in fact go to prom with Laura Ingalls Wilder, and writes only in hieroglyphics.
No, she rejected him.
Yeah, she rejected him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Eric, I got a question for you.
Sure.
And I've never heard this term before until today. And the term is not in good standing, right? So we've got our Republicans here in Indiana and South Bend are doing infighting. And they're trying to pull one of the Republicans' duty. Like I said, I'd never heard of it before. They want to get rid of him out of the party because he was labeled not in good standing. What the hell does that mean?
Well, if they kick him out of the party, and parties can do whatever they want, right? For the most part, they can decide if they hold a vote. They say, "Nope, you're out." He would no longer he would still have his seat the way I understand it, but he wouldn't be Republican. So he'd have to run as an independent or completely switch parties and run as a Democrat if he wanted to keep his seat.
Wow. Okay.
That's the way I understand it. If they're saying, well, you're not in good standing, and they're looking at getting you out, I mean, that's kind of what they did with Jeff Duncan down in Georgia. They ended up kicking him out of the Republican Party because he endorsed Joe Biden and then Kamala Harris, along with speaking out against Donald Trump. And now he's running for governor as a Democrat.
Well, it's too bad they can't do something like that down in Texas because Greg Abbott is certainly not in good standing. But
oh my God, Mike!
Okay, we're coming toward the end here, so I'm going to try to get a few people on here quickly. This one is Adam. He's in my comments a lot. We interact some, so I thought I'd see what Adam has on his mind today. What's up, Adam?
Hey, how is everybody?
Doing good.
We're doing good.
Good.
Pretty good. So, I sent a lot of people a post today about the I think it's 3.8 billion that we send to Israel every year. And it really lays it out. A plus B equals C.
It was a good post.
It was an awesome post. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't see how we fix all this without fixing that, because without that, you, me, Joe voter, we don't count. And if we don't count, we're still sitting where we're sitting, because we put ourselves there because we put corruption in there and we let them get away with it. And now they know they can get away with it, so now they're going to get away with it. And tough shit for you, tough shit for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no.
if we can't fix that, how do we fix anything?
Yeah, exactly.
That's $10 million a day.
Well, yeah, I mean that's something a lot of people. I'm not careful about it because I don't care, but a lot of people are careful about it because as soon as you say something like that, oh, you're an anti-Semite. I'm not an anti-Semite. What I've said before is Israel has the same problem America does. Is the people of Israel, the Jewish people, I have no problems with them. They're fine people. They want to live their lives like we do. Their problem is they've got a fucked up leader. And I can say that because we live in a country with a lot of good people, and we have a fucked up leader. Therein lies the problems. The leaders of these country that are dragging us down and dragging us into wars, and we, the people, whether it be Israel or whether it be the United States, don't want that shit.
No,
right.
Neither one of our countries want a war criminal as a leader.
Exactly.
No, hell no.
Now,
hell no.
We've got almost 400 million people, and they've got 4 million people, and we have shitty healthcare, and we pay for their healthcare.
Adam,
right,
I gotta
exactly.
I gotta correct you on something here.
Okay.
300 million Americans died from drugs last year. So there's only 33 million people left in the country. Yes. So I just want to make sure that you understand that.
I saw somebody who
fudge numbers
of the United States, and they showed how many people that would actually be, like if you took out full states for every, out of the population, and it was basically the northeast part of the United States is all that would be left. New York and northeast of New York.
Wow.
And that's
wow.
It. That would be all that's left with 40 million people.
Ah, man, I'd be
wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
That number he said is.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm going to pull in one more person. We're getting toward the end. If I go too long, then it becomes a whole nother problem with TikTok and with trying to produce this thing after the fact. We all know who's coming up next.
Yes, we do.
Maybe the most recent American citizen. Somehow, some way, British John became an American citizen while Donald Trump is the president. You obviously have some connections because I was worried about you there for a minute.
Thank God he's got his shirt on today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made
guy loses a little weight and he's flexing.
I made some phone calls to prevent this, but it still happened anyway.
Yeah.
First of all, TJ, your audio has been off all night. It sounds like you're doing this podcast from inside Jay's mom.
TJ, I don't know why you just opened yourself up to that. I don't know why you just put yourself in a trade-off. Fuck now.
Toast.
There's a significant...
I heard the echo. You know what, John? I think you look fabulous. You lost a lot of weight. You look great.
You're very kind. I was just saying to myself, TJ, I recognize that echo. I know that echo. Anyway, all right, let me be serious. First of all, thank you for the commentary on the weight loss. I just want to this is for a serious cause. So, I don't know what you're all doing right now while you're listening to the boomer and all his friends talking. And I'm not joking, if you can see this, I am trying to find the right high-heeled shoes. I'm not joking. I am trying to find a pair of 4-inch Chelsea boots because come Halloween, I will be dressed as Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Nice.
Wow.
I'm not messing around here. I am not buying a $20, Amazon special. No. I went for a corset fitting on Thursday. Okay, boys and girls, we do.
Okay, you're awesome, but I don't really know that you can ever fill Tim Curry's shoes.
I'm not trying to fill his shoes in the same way as I'm not trying to fill Charlie Kirk's either. They haven't even been taken to Goodwill yet. That's probably a next week job.
Yeah.
Let me be serious for a second. You mentioned a few minutes ago, Marta, the thing, and and I wrote this. I did I think I used it for a video. Mr. Trump was very quick to connect the imagery of Mr. Kirk's downfall and the flag at half-mast, and then he used those very powerful words. And my reply to that is, martyrs uplift humanity. They change the world because they leave behind words, lessons, and most important of all, inspiration. Stephen, the first Christian martyr, prayed as the stones fell on him, Lord, do not hold this sin against them. Mr. Kirk said, I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. You can see the peril. Joan of Arc said, I am not afraid I was born to do this. Mr. Kirk said, I think it's worth it, unfortunately, every single year to continue the Second Amendment. You can see the Archbishop Janae Luma of Uganda said before his execution by Idi Amin, said, I am prepared to die for the people of Uganda. Mr. Kirk stood up equally and said, if my 10-year-old daughter was abused in a horrible way, I would force her to carry it to term. The baby would be delivered. A sentence so monstrous, it makes you miss Idi Amin's subtlety.
Yeah, exactly.
Martyrs leave us with the words that transcend death, some with grace, some with fire, and some with the intellectual heft of a community college dropout trying to cosplay as a prophet.
British John, I just want to say this. When I did a video for this, I said, I can't believe I'm still on TikTok. You would think I'd leave well enough alone, but I got to poke the bear, so I'm doing this live. And obviously, you're somebody who pokes the bear. Let me understand this. You just became a U.S. citizen. You're from another country, which makes you a villain in this country to some people. For Halloween, you're going to wear, 4 or 6 inch heels and a corset? And you're talking shit about Charlie Kirk. You must have an angel on your shoulder to be still on TikTok too.
No, this is the bit where I'm serious. I'm not. If you surrender your freedom, then your other freedoms will be taken away from you.
Absolutely.
I went to an all-boys boarding school called St. Bees. The head of the board of governors was a guy called Willie Whitelaw, who was Margaret Thatcher's chief of staff. And at this point, I'm losing you. So let me also tell you that Mr. Bean also went to the same school. We had the same history teacher, albeit 30 years apart.
Wow.
Well, he was historic.
Mr. Bean was awesome.
He was. Also the most recent England rugby captain, but I know that's not anything you guys care about. That's a real sport. And we were taught that, leadership is being a leader. Leadership is being at the front, not asking others to go in your place. And I cannot imagine, I cannot pass on to my daughter a legacy of cowardice. I can't do it.
Agreed.
It's not in me. And I've been writing this book on political satire for about 5 months. I've been working on this. In World War II, we sent money, we sent funds, we sent foods, we sent supplies to satirical comedians in Germany to continue to undermine the regime, because we knew how important it was. There had to be a permanently humorful bite to the regime. The moment you allow someone like Trump, let me just say, it isn't Trump. It is not Trump. It is at this point the heritage, ultra-right, whatever you want to call it, operation. It's that. He is just the figurehead, but he enjoys playing the part. It's like him being in Home Alone. He's not really an actor, but he knew it would be big, and he wanted to be part of it. And this is exactly the same. And so it is incumbent upon you, everybody, to push back as however you can. I know I am taking a ridiculous chance. I have just put out a video regarding Mr. Kimmel. Now, I did not ask Mrs. British Comedy's permission. Um, you know what ABC stands for? Always be censoring. Jimmy Kimmel makes a joke. You suspend him. Fine. We're comedians. Sometimes a joke doesn't land. It wasn't even his strongest, but ABC folded like a paper straw in a whiskey sour. Our collective hearts go out to Mr. Kirk's family. Already people are asking, who's going to step into his shoes? It's only Thursday. It's unlikely they've gone to Goodwill yet. There was a grain. I didn't do that joke. As a comedian, there is nothing I wouldn't do to get on Jimmy Kimmel. Sexual favors, not off the table. He's old enough. He'll either get tired or finish fast. But that's still more stamina. But that's still more stamina than ABC has shown for comedy. And let's not forget, ABC already handed Trump $16 million, basically seed money for his presidential library, a library for a man who famously does not read but does sniff Sharpies. What's next? Jimmy Kimmel and George Stephanopoulos in some hostage video apologizing to a cardboard cutout of Trump while Disney plays the national anthem in the background. ABC didn't protect decency. They protected fragility. They turned the late night show into daycare for conservatives who think sticks and stones is hate speech. Comedy's job is to push power, prod it, test it. Kimmel threw a jab, ABC ran for the hills. Meanwhile, here I am proving I can land sharper blows in one rant than you can let your own host get away with. I would kill to get on Jimmy Kimmel, but ABC wants to kill comedy. CBS has already killed Colbert. ABC has iced Jimmy Kimmel. Thank God Jimmy Fallon isn't funny, or he would be in danger right now.
Yes.
John, think of it this way. You might be upset about Jimmy Kimmel being cast aside, but you're a comedian. Fucking job opening, man.
Look, I'm not going to say that I tagged every single late night show and comedy writer in that post for completely altruistic reasons.
Right.
But you did.
Every moment is a showcase, boys and girls. There is no rehearsal for life. Okay, get out there and get your razzle dazzles out, as I will be on Halloween. You've been around a bit, Boomer. Do you think 4 inches is high enough? What would you wear in that situation?
Flats.
Well, I'm not. I probably wouldn't do that. I don't dress up for Halloween, much to my grandchild's chagrin. I've just never done that really too much.
I broke my ankle in socks.
So Adam's not doing it.
Give the boot back. Don't break your ankle.
By all means.
What I find, and I think TJ, you were talking about this. I have done a couple of stitches in the last few days. The fact that the MAGA want to put on their sunglasses, lean into the camera and tell us what's gonna happen. Now they've got God on their side. I am Charlie. You're not. You just demonstrated bipolarism, if nothing else. I know drugs are offensive. Lithium is not the one to cut back on, my friend. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now they're threatening us, and this, just for humor, if nothing else, they're threatening us with bringing back Milo.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh God! No.
Oh, not that. Everybody thinks he's the one that's going to take us down. Milo went away for a fucking reason.
Let me be clear. Let me be clear.
Because he's a pedophile.
Hold on! Don't take my material.
Okay, sorry, John.
Don't tread on my material. Look, as a British person, I know British people that are. Let me tell you, Milo is not a threat. He's a bloke that went bankrupt cosplaying as Oscar Wilde on Grindr. He calls himself dangerous, but he's as dangerous as a butter knife at a gunfight. This is the same Milo who said grown men sleeping with 13-year-olds could be considered. That is not politics. That is a police interrogation. He was banned from Twitter for harassment, banned from Facebook for hate speech, and even banned from Breitbart for being disgusting. That's like being kicked out of. That is like being kicked out of prison for bad manners. He once called himself the alt-right's gay icon. Now he says he's ex-gay. The only thing Milo ever converted is cash into debt. So please, Do not be afraid of Milo. Milo, if you're watching, okay, you are not the future of conservatism. You are a cautionary tale with bad highlights.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh my God.
It's been festering in me.
British John, I'm going to have to get out of here for any numerous reasons because I'm still alive on this thing and I want to get out before it gets taken down. I just have a question for you. I brought this up earlier. I'm trying to imagine a meeting between Donald Trump and King Charles. And how would you equate that to, say, FDR meeting Winston Churchill or Queen Elizabeth? It's got to be a vastly different experience.
It's lovely to see you again. We have redecorated since you were last here, and we do now have ketchup to go with the roast swan. I'm sorry. As per your request, we have made available Princess Diana's black Mercedes for Mr. Vance, should you wish to use it, sir.
I said something, and I don't know if it's fair because I don't know as much about King Charles as maybe you do. But I said that if Donald Trump and King Charles had a dumb off, it would be a dead heat.
No, actually, I got to push back here on that one. So
okay.
Charles is an interesting character. First of all, some of you have seen this. You saw my picture of me at my immigration ceremony a couple of weeks ago. I was actually wearing a tie that was given to me by then Prince Charles.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, it's the feathers of Clarence House. I trained a returning serviceman in cybersecurity, and he came to a thing, and I was there. He is incredibly articulate, incredibly intelligent, a passionate carer for the world as a whole and environmental issues, architectural issues, huge about sustainability and farming. He is a thoroughly nice chap. And what he's done for the transgender community as well. I don't know if you've seen pictures of his wife. But
holy cow!
Wow.
But no, that was a cheap shot, and so was she. But how pissed would you be? You just serve papers of divorce, then she gets unalived. I mean, that's got to be annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so you're saying he's not dumb. You're saying he's not dumb. It's just the ears make him look that way.
And also the way he carries himself, the enunciated speak. He is a good man. He has flaws, but he is a good man. And I'll tell you how we know he's a good man. He's with Donald Trump right now. That is a good man. He is doing the best for his people. He is trying to make the best fist of this situation, because the UK needs investment, America needs investment, and he's doing the right thing. Now, lots of people are angry with him, saying, "Oh, you shouldn't pander." Well, shut the fuck up. We need the jobs. Not being funny, but sometimes, and TJ, you know what I'm talking about here. Sometimes you got to suck a dick.
Ask your. You'd be the expert about that, not me. So okay.
$20 is $20.
Right. That's how John made his. That's how John made his fortune. Come on now.
I've got a serious question for.
Let me just hold on, Chuck, 2 seconds. For all the people that are here, please search as soon as you finished here. Please search for "Led by Donkeys." All right, that's "Led by Donkeys." That is the group that is doing the huge tarpaulins with Trump and Epstein in the grounds of Windsor Castle, the guys that have been doing the projections on the side of Windsor Castle while Trump is in there. These are an amazing group of activists and comedians, and I may or may not have thrown some money their way. But they're called Led by Donkeys. They've been doing it in the UK after Brexit and then in Europe, and my hope is that we're going to start something here as well. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Trucker, you had a question.
I did, and this is a serious question. So, is it really against decorum for the king to be touched? They were talking about Trump shaking his hand, and then he patted him on the like his forearm, and they said that's against decorum, and he did it twice.
I mean, as I understand it, the king is never to be touched with human hand, which is why his wife pleasures him with a kitchen roll with some sandpaper on the inside.
Jesus Christ! I said a serious question.
Sandpaper. It's 80 grit, trucker. It doesn't get more serious than that, okay?
Oh, Lord.
It wasn't circumcised. It was worn off.
I tell you what, British John, we have a phrase in this country that I'm going to use right now. Get out while the getting's good. So I want to thank all you guys.
We're not being flagged yet.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm doing my best.
I know, but I need this for tomorrow. Fuck it. Anyway, thank you to all of you that are on the panel. Thank you that came in. I hope you have a great night. Thank you for taking the time to listen. We will talk to you again tomorrow.